In a quiet U.S. interview, the Duchess of Sussex reportedly referred to a past relationship as the biggest mistake of my life, and that single comment sent shockwaves through royal circles. Insiders say the timing couldn't have been worse, with King Charles pushing back immediately, claiming the remarks once again tested the limits of discretion and public responsibility. At exactly 1840 UK time on February 5th, du Tuxtanciai Divideshimt Sheshi. What followed raised eyebrows across the board. King Charles III is said to have personally initiated a private video call from Windsor Castle after a confidential daily briefing flagged a growing media situation tied to resurfaced personal history now spreading fast online. According to briefing notes, renewed online chatter centered around an old sealed civil filing in Bibb County, Georgia, dated back to 2011, which recently began trending again. The record allegedly referenced an American man named Joe Giuliano, while also pulling attention toward Toronto-based chef Corey Ello, a former partner from 2012 to 2015, reopening timelines many believed were long settled. The king's message to advisors was direct and firm. Make contact directly, no representatives, no middle steps. Two senior aides confirmed the call lasted exactly 17 minutes and 39 seconds, during which 3 clear questions were raised. Charles reportedly asked whether any legal union had ever existed in the U.S., whether records were sealed by request, and whether recent comments about a former partner were meant to redirect public focus. The tone stayed controlled, but the pressure was unmistakable. One advisor later confirmed a final line landed heavy. Charles allegedly warned that if certain details proved accurate, formal recognition could be reconsidered, triggering immediate legal reviews over what that shift could involve. That directive would have set off a total reset. Insiders say it outlined the complete removal of Meghan Markle's name, image, and styling references from official royal family platforms and printed materials. It also included a permanent pause on any public or ceremonial appearances tied to the monarchy, the rollback of honorary military and civic roles, and the formal shutdown of UK-based institutional protections connected to the Sussex brand. The same guidance reportedly called for ending all coordination between Crown protection teams and any operations acting under Meghan's direction earlier that day. No drama on paper, just clean cuts and cold procedure. Then things escalated fast. An audio clip from an off-camera moment during a private interview session at a Los Angeles studio quietly surfaced online. In the recording, Meghan referred to former partner Corey Vitiello as a past regret, describing that chapter as something that shouldn't have happened. The audio was reportedly captured on February 3rd by a contracted sound technician tied to a production crew. That technician, later identified as Dominic Travis, allegedly passed the clip to a Canadian gossip blogger for a reported $18,000, and the internet ran with it. The clip dropped under a bold headline referencing erased timelines and past years in Toronto, and within hours, search traffic exploded. Queries linking Meghan with old civil records and former relationships surged across platforms by 1400 GMT on February 5th. Monitoring systems flagged phrases like biography questions, sealed records, and Toronto timeline as trending. That spike triggered an immediate Level 3 reputation briefing request from King Charles, with internal reviews zeroing in on Meghan's Canadian residency period between 2012 and 2015. At that point in time, Meghan was in a publicly known relationship with Corey Ello and living in a midtown Toronto apartment linked to his business address. Sources familiar with the timeline point to a sudden, unexplained trip to New York in August 2015, followed by a sharp break from Ello and a clean exit from Toronto-based connections. On February 4th, Corey Vitiello posted a black and white photo of a Toronto street corner where he and Meghan Markle were said to have lived together. The caption read, "The truth never sleeps," and within 24 hours, the post was reshared more than 600,000 times, reigniting online interest in older civil filings tied to Meghan across both Canada and the United States. Behind palace walls, advisors reportedly began preparing a comprehensive review of US-based filings connected to Meghan's pre-royal years. Internal materials reviewed by Royal Newswire claim that King Charles III's office also issued early inquiries to the Home Office and the Department for Digital, Culture, Media and Sport regarding possible changes to formal recognition linked to her status before marrying Prince Harry. By 2000 Greenwich Mean Time, on February 5th, no formal response had come from Montecito. However, sources close to Meghan's team say legal representatives were instructed to prepare early-stage media positioning and protective filings addressing what they describe as misrepresented personal history claims. At the same time, staff within Archewell's press division were directed to track mentions of Joe Giuliano across US and Canadian coverage. Royal insiders say the issue is being handled with constitutional-level urgency, and any confirmed findings of intentional omission could activate a standing permanent removal clause under institutional rules. Rarely used, this measure would amount to a full institutional cutoff, meaning removal from royal archives and exclusion from future historical references. And at the same time, Meghan Markle was already pivoting hard toward a new chapter. For Meghan, Dubai wasn't planned as a break. It was meant to be a full reset. February was set to launch a high-pressure publicity push across the Gulf, building toward a headline-grabbing March rollout tied to a new lifestyle and advocacy concept, tentatively titled Ever Arabia. But that vision collapsed almost instantly, following a reported denial of entry on February 4th and a clear diplomatic freeze from the British royal family on February 6th. The entire strategy unraveled in real time under global media attention. The timing couldn't have hit harder. Brand momentum in the United States was already slipping. Revenue streams were thinning, and key partnerships were stalling. Reports surfaced of Netflix pausing future development talks, Spotify stepping away from collaboration, and donations linked to Archewell reaching new lows. Internal strategy papers leaked by a former associate revealed just how much was riding on Dubai. The plan positioned the city as the anchor for a Q1 relaunch tour focused on elegance, motherhood, and global influence. Proposed events included a private women's leadership roundtable at a luxury Palm Jumeirah resort, teaser collaborations with Dubai-based fashion houses, and filmed segments centered on renewal and reconciliation. Closed-door investor meetings were also outlined for a candle and home goods line under the As Ever label. But here's the catch. None of those activities were reportedly registered with the UAE Ministry of Economy or disclosed in official visa documentation. Authorities concluded the visit appeared intended for commercial and media activity without proper clearance, triggering an entry refusal under immigration and business compliance rules. After her sudden departure, the fallout stacked up fast. By February 5th, a reported $2 to $3 million influencer partnership with Sahara Beauty Group was put on pause. A planned co-branded editorial with Alba Elegance magazine was quietly pulled, and regional retailer Zen Magis stepped away from distribution talks tied to Meghan's fragrance and specialty food line, citing reputational uncertainty. Then came the biggest signal yet, a scheduled sit-down interview with Al Rabia English, set for March 2nd and positioned as Meghan Markle's formal reintroduction to Middle Eastern audiences, was silently removed from the network's calendar. No announcement, no explanation. She arrived with a strategy, but without stability, said one Dubai-based media consultant who reviewed the proposals. This region is extremely image-focused. When someone shows up carrying unresolved legal matters, royal tension, and mixed messaging, it's viewed as a risk, not an opportunity. While momentum collapsed in the UAE, pressure continued building back in California. Tyler Perry has reportedly submitted preliminary claims alleging improper use of personal financial support he provided to Meghan and Prince Harry in 2020. Sources claim Perry believed he was assisting with a temporary private residence and security, only to later see the situation reframed within streaming-related narratives without consent. Meanwhile, Archewell, once praised as a powerful blend of public service and media reach, is now facing increased regulatory attention. The Internal Revenue Service confirmed in late January that the organization was flagged for unusual administrative costs and unexplained contractor payments, including international transfers. Adding to the pressure, the Charity Commission has reportedly reopened its review of Meghan's former UK-linked charitable activity, signaling that scrutiny on both sides of the Atlantic is far from over. New reports suggest former staff from both Archewell-linked operations and the royal household have quietly begun cooperating with compliance and ethics reviewers in both the US and the UK. Sources say these discussions are confidential, but the scope alone signals that scrutiny has widened far beyond a single incident. To insiders, Meghan's blocked Dubai entry now represents something much bigger than a failed visit. Analysts describe it as a breaking point in her credibility as a global public figure. Efforts to pivot into areas like sports diplomacy, international branding, or royal-adjacent influence are now tangled in unresolved disputes, strained partnerships, and growing institutional distance. After years of framing herself as a champion of empowerment and someone who endured palace pressure, Meghan Markle is now facing a harsher narrative. Critics increasingly describe the brand as unstable, overly dependent on borrowed status, and struggling to function independently. Even potential outreach in Saudi Arabia, once rumored as a next step, is reportedly being reconsidered. A senior Gulf official summed it up bluntly, saying she brings attention, but not the kind welcome near power, a remark that sent global media chatter into overdrive. Then came another shockwave. A Toronto-based investigative podcast titled The Archive Room dropped a late-night episode on February 6th, featuring a masked voice testimony widely believed to belong to a former long-term partner from 2012 to 2015. The speaker, never named, shared precise timelines, apartment details, and references consistent with publicly known records. Though digitally altered, the voice was described as calm and deliberate. Around the 32-minute mark, the speaker claimed first-hand awareness of a sealed civil filing dated 2011 in Bibb County, Georgia, instantly reigniting online speculation and pushing the situation into an entirely new phase. The speaker added that he first became aware of the record while they were still living together in Toronto. He recalled a moment where Meghan allegedly mentioned that certain past issues had been handled legally, using the phrase "clean slate" while packing for a short New York trip. That detail immediately caught listeners' attention. Online audiences quickly connected the dots. Many linked the comment to long-circulating but never confirmed rumors suggesting Meghan Markle may have had a brief prior legal union with an American businessman named Joe Giuliano before ever meeting Prince Harry. The podcast, hosted by investigative journalist Lydia Markham, a former Royal Affairs contributor to The Globe and Mail, exploded overnight. It pulled in more than 8.3 million downloads within its first 36 hours, as major outlets across the UK, Canada, and the US rushed to publish transcripts and expert breakdowns. That surge sparked a second wave of attention aimed squarely at Buckingham Palace. But what unsettled analysts most was the nature of the departure described. The speaker claimed that in August 2015, Meghan left Toronto for what was framed as a brief New York trip and never returned. No explanation, no follow-up, just total silence. Observers say the timing lines up uncomfortably well with what appeared to be a broader personal rebranding phase. The account directly challenges Meghan's previously stated timeline that she had been single for more than a year before meeting Prince Harry in July 2016. Legal commentators appearing on BBC Radio 4 and CBC News noted that if any sealed civil record does exist and wasn't disclosed during official vetting, it could raise procedural concerns. A senior advisor later confirmed to Royal Newswire that King Charles III's legal team has initiated an internal records review, spanning the Lord Chamberlain's office, the Cabinet Office, and the Home Office, signaling that the issue has officially moved behind palace walls. The goal of the internal review is now sharply defined. Investigators are working to determine whether Meghan Markle ever submitted a non-disclosure request or a partially redacted personal history ahead of her 2018 royal wedding. That question sits at the center of everything unfolding now. In response to the podcast Fallout, Meghan's team released a short statement from Montecito. The note described the episode as a targeted attack on her character, claiming it relied on speculation and unauthorized suggestions rather than verified facts. But here's what raised eyebrows. As of this moment, no legal action has been filed, and no formal statement directly addressing the alleged Giuliano marriage has been submitted. That silence only intensified online attention. By early February 7th, the name Joe Giuliano surged across social platforms. A short video then surfaced, showing him briefly approached by reporters outside a Miami cafe. He declined interviews, but answered one question with a single line: "I don't erase people. I once loved." That 14-second clip exploded across TikTok and X, pulling in more than 19 million views within 24 hours. Hashtags referencing sealed records, past filings, and testimony trended worldwide, forcing the royal family into yet another round of urgent media containment. Sources at Windsor confirmed that King Charles III was briefed again late on February 6th. He reportedly ordered the immediate assembly of a comprehensive dossier covering media assets, timeline discrepancies, and prior biographical statements. Behind closed doors, palace advisors are said to be deeply concerned. If the claims are verified, they fear the credibility of royal vetting standards could take lasting damage. As one source put it plainly, the monarchy isn't just symbolic. It runs on due diligence, and that standard can't bend. This is no longer about her. It's about what we failed to detect. That internal line now defines the crisis. Fallout from the Archive Room episode has officially outgrown every previous Sussex-related controversy, both in scale and diplomatic sensitivity. Meghan Markle's continued silence since her initial statement has only intensified speculation, splitting public opinion between privacy defenders and those demanding institutional accountability. Within hours of the podcast crossing 8 million streams and the Joe Giuliano narrative resurfacing, Meghan reportedly launched a full-scale counter-strategy from her Montecito estate on February 7th. Internal sources say she convened an emergency legal and media meeting inside Archewell's private crisis response suite. Leaked briefing notes, reviewed by Royal Newswire, outlined 4 immediate priorities. First, undermining the credibility of Corey Vitiello through indirect media placement. Second, drafting legal warning notices aimed at limiting further Giuliano-related coverage. Third, reframing Meghan's Canadian years as exaggerated public lore rather than verified history. And fourth, fast-tracking the rollout of a rebranded personal venture under the Ever trademark before noon that same day. Within hours, the pattern became visible. 3 gossip columns, 2 US-based and 1 Canadian, published strikingly similar narratives portraying Vitiello as a fame-seeker and passive-aggressive opportunist. Each cited unnamed sources close to Meghan and repeated claims that he resented her growing profile and believed she owed success to his professional circle. What tipped analysts off came next. Independent watchdog PR Trace later confirmed through metadata review that at least 1 column originated from a pitch sent by a publicist tied to LSM Strategies, a firm reportedly under contract with Archewell Creative since late 2025. The pressure campaign didn't stop there. 2 U.S. morning talk shows with scheduled video segments were reportedly served pre-litigation warning letters from the law firm Henderson and Roth LLP. The notices demanded retractions of any commentary linking Meghan Markle to unverified pre-royal legal records, citing reputational harm and misleading public framing. Separate from the Vitiello-focused media push, Meghan's legal team also issued a provisional cease and desist notice to the Archive Room and its host, Lydia Markham. The filing challenged the use of altered voice testimony without a signed waiver, arguing that even without a named identity, the implication itself caused damage. Legal analysts noted that while no individual was formally identified, Meghan's team appears intent on establishing that any content referencing an alleged sealed marriage, named or unnamed, qualifies as harmful suggestion rather than protected commentary. At the same time, X reportedly received more than 150 coordinated takedown requests targeting posts tied to the Giuliano Files hashtag. The claims cited privacy invasion and manipulated context, though many requests were denied under public interest and discourse standards. But the boldest move came next. Internal documents from a Montecito-based PR strategy session revealed plans to completely reframe Meghan's Toronto years. The 2012 to 2015 period was repositioned as a career-only phase, with personal relationships minimized to casual connections. A coordinated run of posts and interviews followed. Former colleagues and associates from Suits echoed nearly identical phrasing, stressing that she was fully career-focused and that her only serious commitment was to her work. The goal was clear: distance Meghan from any narrative involving shared living arrangements or long-term emotional ties during that chapter, and rewrite the timeline before the public locked it in for good. One detail stood out above the rest. An email leak dated February 6th revealed that Meghan Markle had written directly to a Netflix executive stating, "Corey's chapter must be erased. It's not aligned with the new Duchess narrative." That line spread fast online, morphing into the trending hashtag #EraseChapter, now used as shorthand for claims that Meghan was attempting to retroactively clean up her public timeline. The following day, public records confirmed Meghan filed an emergency copyright and trademark application for a new brand titled Ever with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. The filing covered wellness goods, streaming projects, skincare, organic drinks, and personal growth courses. Insiders say the pivot was meant to create daylight between the Sussex identity and a brand increasingly tied to institutional tension. Press drafts prepared by her team described Ever as a forward-facing legacy platform for empowered women. But that rollout hit resistance fast. Sussex Legal UK, which oversees Crown-adjacent trademarks, filed a formal objection on February 8th, citing brand confusion and restricted use conflicts. Then came another blow. Whole Foods Market reportedly withdrew from distribution talks tied to two Meghan-branded product lines, including an herbal tea range and a signature fragrance, pointing to unresolved reputational concerns and alignment risk. Meanwhile, Spotify quietly ended development on Meghan's planned podcast series, scheduled for summer 2026. An internal memo later leaked to Variety described the situation as no longer viable for long-term investment. Royal sources say King Charles III's team was fully briefed on these countermeasures, including aggressive legal actions and digital footprint management, confirming the standoff had now reached its most critical stage yet. A special session of the Privy Communications Council was convened on the morning of February 8th. King Charles III reportedly instructed senior advisors to begin outlining the constitutional, financial, and reputational consequences of a full Sussex detachment. A draft framework titled Unbinding Protocol, Sussex Chapter, began circulating internally. The document mapped out procedures for digital asset removal, public distancing language, annulment of select privileges, and coordination with the Home Office on travel access and visa review. Nothing symbolic, all structural. One senior official summed up the mood bluntly. Her silence could have passed. But this isn't silence. This is resistance through erasure. And the Crown does not rewrite history to ease discomfort. As Meghan Markle intensified efforts to reshape key parts of her public past, the response from individuals directly referenced in that narrative reached a breaking point. The quiet protection that once surrounded her image began cracking under first-hand pushback, legal filings, and rising public doubt. That same morning, Chef Corey Ello officially filed a civil defamation claim against Meghan at the Ontario Superior Court of Justice. The filing, reviewed by Royal Newswire's legal desk, alleges that Meghan knowingly misrepresented their relationship to undermine his credibility, erase shared history, and portray him as emotionally unreliable. The claim specifically cites the off-camera remark from February 3rd, labeling him a mistake, along with leaked communications involving Netflix where she allegedly stated, "Corey's chapter must be erased." It also references coordinated media narratives portraying him as attention-seeking. Ello is seeking 2.5 million Canadian dollars in reputational damages and a formal retraction. His legal team stressed the case isn't about profit, but restoring dignity. The filing stunned observers, marking a sharp turn from a figure once known for total discretion, and signaling that this chapter has officially entered the courtroom. That same day, Joe Giuliano, the man long rumored to be connected to Meghan Markle's early personal history, was spotted by reporters at a cafe in Miami's Wynwood district. He declined all formal interviews but delivered one carefully chosen line on camera. "I don't erase people. I once loved." The clip, just 14 seconds long, aired across major U.S. networks and exploded online within hours. Giuliano neither confirmed nor denied any legal connection, but legal analysts say his tone and wording were widely read as a direct response to accusations of selective revisionism. Observers also noted that Giuliano's sudden public appearance after years of silence may signal a willingness to cooperate with ongoing inquiries if formally approached. As attention intensified, speculation grew that documentation could surface should official requests be made. Meanwhile, two women previously linked to Prince Harry made pointed but indirect remarks that reignited conversation. Cressida Bonus posted a cryptic message shared more than 1.3 million times, stating, "Some people spend more time deleting the past than building the future." Shortly after, Chelsea Davy, known for long-standing discretion around royal matters, replied to a follower in a now-deleted comment, "History isn't something you curate. It's something you own." While neither comment mentioned Meghan directly, royal commentators interpreted both as reinforcing a growing perception that the Duchess is increasingly viewed not as someone protecting privacy, but as someone reshaping timelines. By February 9th, even traditionally sympathetic voices shifted tone. Editorial boards at The Times, The Globe and Mail, and The Washington Post published opinion pieces questioning what they called curated omission and strategic memory control. The issue was then debated publicly in a joint media segment on Good Morning Britain, marking a clear turning point in the broader narrative. Three former palace correspondents described the moment as more damaging than the fallout from the Oprah interview with Meghan and Harry. Not because of emotion, but because of implications around credibility, directed not just at the public, but at the crown itself. That erosion quickly spilled into the commercial arena. Whole Foods Market confirmed the cancellation of two upcoming product lines tied to the Duchess's Ever brand, citing unresolved alignment concerns. Around the same time, Spotify issued a low-profile statement on February 8th, formally ending all Sussex-linked podcast arrangements. Inside Buckingham Palace, King Charles III was briefed that public opinion had shifted sharply. Internal polling by the Privy Communications Office showed 61% of UK respondents believed Meghan Markle had deliberately omitted or adjusted parts of her pre-royal history for image control. By the evening of February 8th, the King's Advisory Council submitted a working draft labeled the Full Severance Memorandum. The document outlined a legal and communications roadmap to finalize Meghan's removal from royal records and institutional privileges pending further developments. Then came the decisive turn. By dawn on February 10th, King Charles authorized a series of rapid, irreversible measures that formally detached Meghan from the institutional memory of the monarchy. At 3:40 GMT, her active presence in all royal operations was officially nullified. Later that morning, the royal family's official website updated quietly. Meghan Markle's biography, image archive, and marriage timeline were removed without announcement, replaced by a short administrative note stating she was no longer associated with official duties. The silence spoke volumes, and and within minutes, press inquiries flooded in from every major outlet, confirming that the break was no longer theoretical, it was live. Palace officials offered no further explanation, pointing only to the revised Royal Communications Act of 2025, which allows immediate institutional distancing when sustained reputational risk is identified. Within hours, all links tied to Meghan Markle's former patronages were disabled. Archived speeches, royal tour images, and joint appearances with Prince Harry were quietly removed from public view or shifted into restricted press-only access. Later that morning, Princess Anne attended a pre-scheduled dedication at the Royal Academy of Military Science. The event had nothing to do with palace matters until Anne added an unscripted line to her closing remarks. It takes integrity to stand under scrutiny. It takes courage to own one's history. And it takes truthfulness to earn the right to serve. The uniformed audience responded with immediate applause, and both UK and international outlets interpreted the moment as a pointed rebuke. Notably, it marked the first time a senior working royal other than the king appeared to publicly acknowledge the controversy. Sources later described the remark as approved but unscheduled, with insiders saying Anne was deeply unsettled by what she viewed as a breach of royal trust. That evening, King Charles III took the stage at the Royal Archive Centennial Gala at Windsor Castle. Officially billed as a celebration of preservation, the speech carried a sharper edge. "We must preserve not just records and facts," the king said, "but the courage to face them. History need not be edited to make it comfortable. It stands as it was lived, and it will not be rewritten for convenience." The message landed hard. For many watching, it sounded less like ceremony and more like a final verdict. The audience, made up of historians, archivists, and diplomatic figures, immediately caught the deeper meaning. Though the king never named her directly, royal analysts widely read the remarks as a symbolic closing of Meghan Markle's royal chapter. By sunrise, the phrase, "History shall not be rewritten," dominated front pages across the UK and beyond. By the following morning, internal government correspondence leaked to Royal Newswire revealed that the Royal Legal Office had issued a formal notice to the UK Home Office on February 9th. The request called for a full review of Meghan's travel classifications, visa status, and all records tied to title-based privileges. While the Duchess remains a US citizen, her former diplomatic designation connected to the Sussex title had previously allowed inclusion in select international coordination protocols. That status is now under active reassessment. A Home Office official, speaking anonymously, confirmed the shift. "We've been instructed to classify her as a private US citizen with no active royal designation." Though largely procedural, the move carries real weight in protocol-heavy environments like G7 invitations, state ceremonies, and official seating orders. And on the commercial side, the impact was immediate. Within hours, Whole Foods Market formally ended all remaining discussions tied to the ever-organic product line, marking another sharp consequence of full royal detachment. By February 10th, the final dominoes fell. Netflix released a brief statement confirming the indefinite shelving of its planned documentary project, while Spotify quietly removed all promotional traces tied to Meghan's unreleased audio series. Within hours, every major commercial platform linked to Meghan Markle went dark. Archewell's press site was stripped of media kits and future event calendars, and from Montecito, Meghan was not seen publicly for 3 consecutive days. British tabloids quickly labeled the silence the Montecito disappearance. Her team declined all comment requests, and the only confirmed activity came from her legal representatives, who filed an emergency copyright defense tied to the Ever brand, now officially under review. According to Royal House Procedure Archives, the last time a figure was removed this thoroughly from royal records dates back to the abdication crisis of Edward VIII. Even then, Edward retained a formal historical entry. Palace staff now reportedly refer to the Meghan file as fully sealed, archived under a new sovereign classification denoting permanent institutional separation. Before departing Windsor, King Charles III is said to have left a private note with the Lord Chamberlain's office. It read, "Closure is not about vengeance. It is about protecting the crown from erasure." And with that, the Meghan Markle chapter within the British royal family was formally closed. If you want more deep dives like this, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. New stories are coming fast, and I'll see you on the next one.